Genesis, it's Kamala Harris. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How's your Friday going?
I am very well. It's good to be with you today.
Thank you. Oh, man, thank you so much to you, too, and for spending some of your afternoon with me. I really appreciate it. I know you're extremely busy, so I'm just going to jump right into my questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so a lot of people have been told, that their vote doesn't count, or maybe they even feel like that. I remember feeling like that at one time as I was getting of voting age. Different relatives have told me, it doesn't matter if you vote or not. They're going to pick whoever they want to pick. What can you say to those people that may feel like that, or just to reassure them that their vote is just as important as the next person, no matter their race, social status, or even their income?
So a few things, but first of all, let me just say it's good to be with you on 96.5, and I want to thank you for your voice. Listen, on voting, here's how I think about it. First of all, I think it's important to never let anybody silence your voice. Your voice is important, and one of the ways you exercise your voice during election time is to vote. There are people around the country who are trying to make it more difficult for you to vote because they are afraid that when you start voting and when everyone starts voting in their numbers, that things might change and that things might get better. And so I would also just issue the challenge to say, don't let the people who don't want you to vote win on that. It's important for you to get out there and show that you are going to put your order in about what you want in terms of the future of our country and who holds elected leadership. The other point is that in 2020, I'll tell you, Genesis, in the middle of a pandemic, there had been such a loss of life. People lost any sense of normalcy. They lost their jobs. And yet, people got out and stood in line, voted by mail, and voted. We have the highest number for a long time of young voters voting in 2020. And because they did, Joe Biden is President of the United States, and I am the first woman to be Vice President of the United States, the first black woman to be Vice President of the United States. Your vote matters. And it's because people voted and said when they went to the polls, look, I want you to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month because too many of our seniors have had to worry about whether they could fill their prescription and fill their refrigerator. We have now capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. People said, pay attention to our HBCUs. They're centers of academic excellence. We did it, and we're now putting over $7 billion into our HBCUs. People said, as I have always said, look, nobody should have to go to jail just for smoking weed. And so we've then dealt with the federal offenses on simple possession of marijuana and are basically giving forgiveness for all of those, getting rid of those convictions. So these are some examples of how when you vote, it actually makes a difference.
Wow, thank you. And that kind of leads to one of my questions, because I was thinking, so many people look at people that are in office, such as yourself, and say, well, I see how they help themselves and maybe their family, but that kind of ties right into how the Biden-Harris administration has helped so many people. Can you speak to maybe some other accomplishments that have come about that we don't even know about that we're probably benefiting from, specifically in the Michigan or the Midwest area?
Absolutely. For example, in Lansing and in Michigan, I know that there are a lot of extraordinary community-owned small businesses.
Absolutely.
Small businesses are part of the backbone of our community economy. Small business owners are really not only business leaders, they're civic leaders, they mentor, they hire locally. Knowing that, we also know that so many of our small businesses and entrepreneurs who want to start a small business don't have access to capital, right? They don't have intergenerational wealth. They've got great ideas, and they are prepared to do the hard work to grow a small business. We have put billions more dollars into community banks to increase access to capital for small businesses, to open up a small business and to grow a small business. And we have had a record number of black-owned businesses being opened under our administration and because of our push. The other thing we did is we have increased federal contracts for minority-owned small businesses by 50%. That means that for the first time, we have been paying attention to the fact that these federal contracts are really a way to build the economy of a community, and we want to make sure that everyone has access to those opportunities, not just the people who have the inside relationship. The work that we have done that has been about dealing with small business loans And historically, people who were formerly incarcerated could not even qualify for those loans. We have now gotten rid of that obstacle so that small business loans are now, people who are formerly incarcerated are eligible to get those small business loans.
Wow, that's amazing.
So those are some of the examples of the things that we have done. Not to mention, again, capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month for our seniors. Black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. Latinos are 70% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes.
Absolutely. Insulin being capped at $35, huge.
These things matter. And in terms of re-election, one of the areas of focus for us is on affordable housing, which I know is an issue in Lansing. What we need to do to increase affordable child care. The president and I said nobody should pay more than 7% of their income on child care. And then what we need to do around paid family leave. Because, when you got to take care of your sick children or your parent, you shouldn't have to be able to draw down your salary because you've taken time off to care for somebody you love who is sick.
Absolutely, such a great thing, especially the child care, because I personally know people that have had to make a decision on whether they were going to be a two-income family or somebody was going to have to stay home because it was cheaper just to be at home with the kids. And that's absolutely not fair when, the cost of living doesn't go down just because you choose to stay home.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so, look, elections matter because we've been able to do all this because people got out and voted in 2020. And I'm asking everybody in Lansing and Michigan, do what you did before again because it matters and it makes a difference. And the primary in Michigan is on Tuesday, February 27th. The polls open at 7 in the morning. They close at 8 in the evening. And folks can go, I'm going to give you a website address, but folks can go to iwillvote.com to find out where they can vote and make sure that they know where their polling place is. But don't let anybody take your voice. We've come too far to be silenced. And one of the ways that we express ourselves is through our vote.
And just for you to know, in my personal research, I know that as of this past Monday, there have been about 700,000 absentee ballots turned in Michigan. So that's phenomenal just in this area. So.
That's really good to hear. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you're extremely busy, but as a radio guy and the host of the livest karaoke around, Karaoke Kickback, what kind of music are you listening to when you're maybe unwinding or working out? Or do you have like a favorite song when it comes on? You're like, okay, forget whatever I'm doing. I got to sing. This is my joint right here.
Oh, well, I got to get you my playlist. But you know what? I'm really old school hip hop.
Okay.
But that being said, I was recently actually in Grand Rapids, and there's this woman there who has a record store, Della Soul. So she's selling vinyl.
Yeah, big shout out Della Soul.
And so I got a Miles Davis album there. And then, of course, who is not excited about Beyonce having a #1 hit on the country?
We were just talking about that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Texas Hold'em, right? So I guess I have what they call eclectic taste in music.
Okay.
I like a lot of different genres.
Nothing wrong with that. I used to DJ country music myself. People are always shocked. They're like, "You did what?" I'm like, "Yeah, no worries. I got you."
But here's the thing, Genesis. Remember, for example, people who are not familiar with the background of black people in country music, by my memory, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, the biggest amount of the largest volume of Ray Charles's work was country music.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right.
So this is not about something folks just discovered.
Yeah. And, even just recently with the Tracy Chapman song, a lot of people didn't know that was hers, and it became a huge hit. And so. And this is not something I came up with, but we've controlled the cool for quite a long time. And that whether it's country music, hip hop, and R&B.
Culture.
Yeah. Culture, big time. Well, thank you for spending some of your time with me and encouraging the Michigan voters to get out and vote. After all, it is our right. And so if it's our right, we got to get out and do it. Madam Vice President, this was an absolute honor to chat with you on today. Thank you so much.
It is good to be with you, and Power 96.5. Please take care.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.